for agreeing to let me come and interview you right before your rehearsal, preparing for your upcoming performance on November 8th. Divas DC Cream of the Crowd. I'm excited too because I get a sneak preview. This is great. So we have Deborah, we have Patty, I'm gonna be right at the top of the list. We have Patty, we have Terry, Sean, and Silver. So let's start with the creation of a reality show. So what was it, Terry, that made you decide that you wanted to do this? Because as we all know, and as we've seen on some of the reality shows, it can be very probing. So what was it about this concept that made you want to let America in on the lives of some of DC's top talent?
Well, actually, I don't always like to use the word reality, even though we are filming real time, but it's a docudrama series. And what we're going to do is we're going to empower our sisters. Right. We're going to empower women, and we're going to put a twist on the acronym DIVA.
The fact that it was just a different take on the concept of reality, on the concept of diva. Both of them are a little bit different, you know, because I find myself saying, oh, I'm one of the divas of DC, but not like that, you know, and I find myself having to say that because we've ruined that word, and reality television is, if it hasn't already, it's starting to run amok on the singers that are participating. Some of these on the R&B diva shows, you know, these are some fantastic singers. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Well, I just want to say I applaud you all, and I am just looking so forward to great things. I will be there on the 8th.
And you're a diva too.
Yes, girl. We don't have enough time to talk about that. But I just want to say she can sing.
Yes, absolutely.
So much. I'm going to let you get to your rehearsal. Any parting words before I go? Does anyone want to say anything? Bye.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
So let's do a group hug.
And tell everybody to come out on November 8th.
You want to say
Ladies and Jazz, Maryland.
all right, yeah, let's say what. Come on, how's it go?
Divas DC.
Come on, let me sing it.
Divas DC.
Yeah, hey.
Divas DC.
Oh, yeah.
Divas DC.
Yeah.
Divas DC. With Miss Whitney. Divas DC. Oh yeah. Divas DC. Come on, say Divas DC.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Divas DC.
How you doing?
I'm good.
Good? You excited?
Yep.
Yay! I'm excited too. Wow, okay, so reading your bio, you are a very busy young lady. So what keeps you going?
Well, my friends and my family definitely motivate me, and I like making people smile and making them happy, and just want to make sure everyone's proud. And
Oh, wow. And you're how old?
12.
Wow. I'm about to tear up. Now, one of the things that you didn't mention, or that's not mentioned in your bio, and I know you're just being modest, but you are also a competitive ice skater.
Yep. I've passed all my basic and freestyle levels, so now I'm working on my USFS moves in the field and other freestyle levels. I'm in novice moves, and so I only have about 3 levels to go until I finish that, and then I'm on to freestyle and just go all through that.
Man, that takes a lot of commitment.
Yeah.
Is it hard to stay focused?
No.
So out of all the things that you do with your guitar lessons and your ice skating and you're playing the ukulele, now you're actually producing benefits or producing shows. Which do you like the most so far?
I'd say I like all of them equally.
Okay.
It's just a way to express myself and get out there.
Okay. Wow. We have Mom sitting over in the corner. She's being a little shy right now. She didn't want to join us. But I tell you, you two must be some very proud parents. You've raised a beautiful young lady.
and inspiration.
Now, we're going to bring on our favorite cousin, Lawrence, who is a phenomenal
You're too kind.
rapper, you know.
Hey,
So,
y'all.
hey, how are you? How have you been?
I'm well. I've been well. Gosh, it's been a very amazing time since the last time I was here. I'm glad I could join my cousins once again. We holding it down. What's up, Wendy? I know you're watching, and thank you for our listening audience for
We
inviting
miss
me
you
back.
so much, Ma. Come back.
Yeah.
So what have you been up to since the last time you were on the show?
Oh, last time I was on the show, let's see. Just been spending time with my family, loving that. Been working on some projects with my music on the side, and also just really focusing on just self-development and becoming a better person and speaker and artist all at once. So many different avenues of doing that for sure.
Okay, so we just showed a Tupac video. Before Tupac, there was a Sir Mix-a-Lot video. So we're gonna keep it on topic. You know, when did you decide to make hip hop your musical choice?
Well, let me start by saying I love Sir Mix-a-Lot, but Tupac was one of my favorite artists, one of my most influential as far as my development as an artist. And I think for me, when I decided that hip hop was for me, it was very early. It was just something that, you know, if you've grown up in the late 80s, early 90s, even early 80s, hip hop has affected you in some way, shape, or form. And I find it really fascinating to see how you can even listen to some forms of rock music. These days, even there's some country music artists that have found a way to incorporate and ingratiate a little bit of the hip hop flavor into their artwork. And so that said, I found my first opportunity to perform back in middle school, and I've been going ever since. It's just a really empowering form of expression, and you really don't need anything but your voice. I mean, of course, if you are skilled in production, you can incorporate those skills, and these days it's so much easier to create and package your own product. So I'd highly encourage everyone to just take advantage of those resources, because it's inexpensive to get started, but once you really want to focus on polishing yourself as an artist and propelling yourself forward, that's when you can really start being able to plug into some other avenues that can really take your career forward. So listening pleasure. I'm Dizzy Disaster, the natural disaster, and this is The Revolution Begins. Eric, please. Oh yeah, I love this beat. How you can change the world with just yourself. D-I-Z-A-S-T-A, yeah. I be that video game getting your kids ready for combat. The top tool used by recruits for the army, but they look at you and yell, don't ask, don't tell. You crooked looking like Bruno, although my attitude is bull rat. Step into the land, well prepared to tell you all facts. If you live and you witness, then empires collapse. Otherwise, like a fat kid trying to run laps. Otherwise, like your way, land of the Big Mac. Ransack my rich cash, turn them into Macy's. Protests for peace are getting torn into pieces. Damn, what happens when we can't demand respect and the reason? And easy sand becomes treason, and we
you got the power in you to change the course of his story. The hour is here, homie, this is your story with the path, the pen are off the top of your head. I say within is where the revolution begins. You got the power in you to change the course of his story. The hour is here, homie, this is your story with the path, the pen are off the top of your head. I say within is where the revolution begins. You got the power in you to change the course of his story. The hour is here, homie, this is your story with the path, the pen are off the top of your head. I say within is where the revolution begins. You got the power in you to change the course of his story. The hour is here, homie, this is your story with the path, the pen are off the top of your head. The president can't bring change, it only comes from within, or 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 within. Now it's an arrow over whom the bell tolls. The ton of my scuff your shell toe. That's how when I come to the elbow, finish the coaster, then your Velcro. Get a crew man, get moving. What's the use in being scarecrow if his eye is on the sparrow? I know that he be watching me on CCTV. There's a camera on my block that I tag graffiti for that very reason. Propaganda feeding this complacent ingredients. Pledge of obedience with the pledge of obedience. They redefine rape as we rape by the greediest who spit on the neediest. Mediocre media, it's not a joke. Average open more trusting comedians. Where's the love and it's just lust that they feeding us? So much, so we are addicted, and for that we are in prison. The very same treatment many addicts get. Statistic, what it's like, man, it's like this here. I'm locked up, they won't let me out. I'm a convict, but I'm convinced that we're coming back around like Halley's Comet. The power of the people will not be divide and conquer. They go through Blanca or covered under La Raza, so y'all in pathers ain't getting out. No, y'all. Puta muchacha, what's the difference? We put our differences aside us. The bond that unites us is tighter than what divides us. Realize this, the present is a gift and life is priceless. The love that you give is akin to the Midas. Touch of the hand, the line is drawn in the sand. So tell me on what side you choose to stand. Power to the people, to the pockets of the lobbyists. Secretive and ominous, too big to pharaoh who gon' balance college kids out. Now follow me, don't wanna hear me hollering. Blood under each white collar neck. I'ma make you come correct, more like a diplomat from Switzerland. Peace is the passionate, violence not an option, but a form of self-defense will leave you wondering who shot you. Hey, what can I say? I came up with Grand Theft Auto. Nevertheless, told me we gotta put this empire under our feet like the Ottoman. When silence becomes betrayal, we must yell like an argument unless you're too cushy, comfortable to be cognizant. That's why they wanna take me out like Franz Ferdinand. The women they get dirty like their black hair from Serbia. Wretched of the earth is us, the knobs and not superfluous. Tired of y'all hurting us, but now it's time to breathe. Step inside these saboteurs like scumbag Steve. And there's one last thing I gotta make clear, yo. I'm sick of these fuckers like Robert De Niro. So if you're with me, let me hear you say, yeah. The heat is on, can you feel the warmth? Is it killing the earth like killing your moms? No, it's much worse, it's like killing your God. That's why we gotta go hard, like a fireproof wall. Like a boss who had the nerve to fire you all. So get mad, get hot. Scotty, you got the power in you to change the course of his story. The hour is here, homie, this is your story with the pad, the pen are off the top of your head. I say within is where the revolution begins. You got the power in you to change the course of his story. The hour is here, homie, this is your story with the pad, the pen are off the top of your head. I say within is where the revolution begins. You got the power in you, and in you, and you. You got the power in you, and in you too. You got the power in you, and in you, and you. You got the power in you, and in you too. You've got the power in you, and in you, and you. You've got the power in you, and in you too. Yeah. The revolution begins, y'all. Don't forget, check me out. SoundCloud.com/natural disaster. Facebook.com/natural disaster. Got one more for y'all. This one is dedicated to my peoples who go out every morning at 5:30 a.m. It's about getting right, eating healthy, and getting it all together, y'all. It's called Live Now. Let's get it. Yeah, y'all. Oh, WLVS Studios. Who are we? We live. Now. We live. Now. We live. Now. Yeah, we live. Now, baby, bust it. If you wanna move high, stretch yourself out, then let's get physical. She says she don't wanna sweat that much, but you rolling with them people with that plyometric touch. My plan is to defy what they telling me can't be done. Why come on harder than a champion? Anytime I kinda wanna make me tough, and if I make it fun, it'll keep me young. It's a boot camp, homie, makes us up. Every one of the things like they chasing us. You only got one life, and we live it up, and we live it now, never giving up. Hands, get them up. If you ain't with it, then you don't know nada. Running with them boys who make you a showstopper. Witness the fitness and harness your inner power. Witness the fitness, this is your finest hour, cause stronger. Sleeping better, eating good, even my clothes are grown up. I act like a grown up for 8 hours a day. I'm working, I rub it, it's a workout. All I wanna do be a kid and play. Now don't get me wrong, but we whip Heine into shape better than your P90. So when that DVD done find me, get with that ace and quit messing with them jokers. Cause we gon' have you slim sooner than Star Jones and Al Roker. If you ain't with it, then you don't know nada. Running with them always will make you a showstopper. Witness the fitness and harness your inner power. Witness the fitness, this is your finest hour. Cause we live, now, we what we live. Now, we what we live. Now, we what we live. Now, but I want that one to chat. If you ain't with it, then you don't know nada. Running with them girls who make you a showstopper. Witness the fitness and harness your inner power. Witness the fitness, this is your finest hour. Cause we live, now, we what we live. Now, we what we live. Now, we what we live. Now, but I want that said, if you ain't with it, then you don't know nada. Running with them people will make you a showstopper. Witness the fitness, harness your inner power. Witness the fitness, this is your finest hour. Baby. Oh, that's it, y'all. That's natural disaster for y'all. Oh,
she has, of course, Ayanna is the daughter of legendary comedian and human rights activist Dick Gregory. She was blessed with the opportunity to interact with such mega talents as Bob Marley, Marvin Gaye, Stevie Wonder, and Michael Jackson. So in 1999, she teamed up with Grammy-nominated producer James McKinney to bring forth her first solo project, Beautiful Flower, released in 2003. In June 2007, Ayanna released her second CD project, Ballad for My Father, tribute to Dick Gregory. And her 2011 release, entitled Now, is quietly becoming a powerful healing anthem around the country. In 2013, Ayanna released her much-anticipated children's album entitled I Dream a World. This upbeat and powerful album is inspiring young people everywhere to actualize their greatness and live out loud. Her most recent recorded work is a soulful tribute to her mother entitled Mama, This One's For You, released in May 2014. So in addition to her life as a soul singer, she spends much of her time as an educator and motivational speaker, teaching life skills and creative arts to school children and lecturing before diverse audience. So ladies and gentlemen, I introduce and present to you Miss Ayanna Gregory. Thank you. Oh my goodness. So from the beginning, when did you realize you had a voice? Not just the musical voice, but as an activist, and when did you realize the power in your message?
Well, it's interesting because it took me a while to connect the two. I knew that I could sing as a child. I knew that I was an activist as a child, but I didn't know that music and art would be my activism. I didn't make that connection until after college. I went to Howard University, studied sociology and African studies, and left school thinking that I was going to become sociologist, social worker. I knew that I wanted to be a part of healing the planet. And it took me years to figure out that music was going to be vulnerable on stage. This was before I had really made that transformation. You know, as my father's child, I'm powerful, I'm a warrior, I'm educational, but vulnerable, contradictory, even sensual, although there were so many parts of me that I wasn't allowing. I wasn't allowing that 360. And so I said, well, if you write this is going to be a much more authentic you. So now was sort of my anthem, my coming out to say, you know, I spent my whole life dumbing my light down to make other people feel comfortable. Because I was afraid, not of failure, but I was absolutely afraid of flying. The idea of that level of magnificence and staying on that level was like petrifying, even though I was exposed to it my whole life. It's the irony of being born into greatness and given so much and yet you running from it. So that was the whole, also the dichotomy of being taught to be a physical runner. And I'm like, and you still running now. So what's this about? What's this really about, figuratively? So I will say that part of the writing process for me is growing out of life experiences and being able to leave it all on the floor. So now my writing comes from, I get to tell on myself now. This ain't about teaching somebody else. You know, I'm trying to fix somebody else. My thing is broke. Let me start here. So when I finally got that, I said, okay, that's what this is about, my healing. It's my own healing first. You know, yes, I want to help save the planet. Yes, I want to heal other people's broken hearts. But this process begins with me. Your breakthrough is my breakthrough. My breakthrough is your breakthrough. If I'm trying to tell you to be vulnerable and I have not broken through my shell, it's fruitless. So that has really, for me, the writing process has been, are you ready to be vulnerable?
But before we do that, and I'm really excited about that, as a matter of fact, as I said, when you get ready to sing, I'm going to move over there so that so I can just sit back and watch. So the indie route versus mainstream, what was it that made you decide that you wanted to go the indie route versus using, I'm sure, the connections that you may have had, I'm sure you probably had, to go the mainstream route?
Well, I'm going to give you two answers. The first answer is the answer that I gave that was not fully complete. The answer that I would give, that I would have given 10 years ago, would have been to say that being exposed a little bit to what that world looks like and some of the dangers and some of the dis-ease and some of the viciousness that you can find yourself in the context of, I really didn't want to, there's a part of me that didn't want to expose myself to that. I've been very sheltered and protected, and even though I've traveled the world, I'm surrounded by really beautiful human beings with good energy who are solid, and they do what they say and they say what they do, and they're just on the up and up. And I thought, do I really want to enter a space where I'm going to be potentially having to deal with some energies that I may not feel comfortable around, but at the end of the day, it's going to be about a bottom line. And I didn't know that I was ready to do that. Now, that's real, but there was another part to it that I didn't know. And it has to do with being afraid of the light. Part of me held a conversation that said, I can't do it authentically in the industry. I don't know that to be true, but I thought that was true. And so I think there was also me blocking a lot of blessings. Stevie Wonder, some years ago, this was a while ago, probably around 2005, he sent for me. I thought I was dreaming.
Wow.
And he sent for me. I went to Los Angeles to spend some time with him in his Wonderland Studios. And he wrote, he wanted me to write the piece, and so he sort of wrote part of this song, and he wanted me to finish it. And because I was so hard on myself, because this is Stevie Wonder's piece, and I'm I couldn't wrap my brain around it. So the writing process got stumped, and I sat on the song, and I have a lot of angry people who, for years, were like, "What's wrong with you? Who in their right mind would do that?" And I would give all types of reasons. Oh, this wasn't right. I didn't like what I wrote. Everything I wrote, didn't like it. And when I look at things like that, there were times that I took 2 steps forward and 10 steps backwards. I was afraid. I was afraid. So, not to say that the some of the things that I was leery of weren't real, but then there was this other part that I was able to hide behind that. I would hear all my life, why aren't you signed? How come people don't know about you? And it was just like staying safe. It was staying comfortable. So often people talk about the fear of failure, but I think a lot of people are afraid of success. A lot. And they don't recognize it because it doesn't make logical sense. Why would you be afraid of a blessing? But, when you grow up in a society like this one that teaches comfortability in mediocrity, then it makes sense that, you might be leaning towards sort of pulling back whenever that opportunity comes. So it was a mix. It was a mix. But I would say, being honest now, I blocked a lot of blessings because I was scared.
Okay. And I also believe that, and that I'm sure that was the case. But then the universe lets you know when it's your time or when it's time. So for whatever reason, that wasn't your experience. And it's things that we don't know could have lied ahead that you were saved or you were spared from. So
I agree.
There are no mistakes. That's right.
Thank you for that.
Yes,
I received that. I need